Hi, Daniel here from Learning on Demand English. Welcome back, and today we're going to talk about the second common misconception that learners have when they take a speaking test, and that is that they believe that every question should be answered in the same way. I've had this comment from many students I had in the past, and I still get kind of questions about that even today. And the fact is that each part of any speaking exam is very much dependent on the kind of question that you get and the time constraints within it. So let's take IELTS as one example. In part one, the examiner has to confirm the candidate's name and check the candidate's ID against the prescribed paper that they have to confirm that that person in front of them is indeed the person who's supposed to take the exam. Then they have to say, now in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about where you live, or let's talk about what you do. All of that takes time. It takes probably about 25 to 30 seconds for a typical examiner to get through the opening checks needed just to ensure that the exam is taking place in the right way, and that if the candidate has an appeal, that they are able to process that appeal in the right way. After that, part one proceeds with a maximum of 11 questions between 4 and 5 minutes. Those questions are going to be quick fire, not looking for a long answer, 3 or 4 sentences. I imagine when I talk to students I've worked with in the past that they're a verbal bank robber, that they have a finite amount of time, 15 to 20 seconds, and that they have to get in and out in that time. And if they do not, then the alarm bells will ring and the examiner will step in with the next question. And if they are too slow, that time is eating away. It's why if a candidate needs to get phrases in their bank, the phrases I would recommend are opening phrases to get the answer started. We'll do more on that in a future video, but the important thing in any speaking exam is to not waste the time that is given to you as a candidate, to use that to your fullest advantage, even if the language you're using feels simple or facile, to fill it with time. In part two, however, the long term, the focus becomes different, and one should think about being a storyteller, telling a big story, and small details are vital in that, and being able to craft a narration. And I'll do a future video on how to compose that in more detail as well. Part three becomes a wider discussion and becomes something that, really is a very important process about being able to handle other people's opinions. How do people in your culture feel? How do men and women feel? How do young and old people feel? How has technology influenced society in general? The idea is to pull yourself away from the ego and to provide a more diplomatic politician style of answer, to avoid involving yourself as much as possible, to unlock other ways of thinking about the same problem. If you have any questions or comments, please check the box below and I'll be happy to get back to you. In the meantime, keep watching and I'll see you on the next one.